Hi guys, very welcome to my first tutorial of my new Houdini tutorial series, Houdini Connects. In this tutorial series we will talk about tips and tricks in production environment, working with different platforms. For instance, you get a data from another application like Maya or Blender, you bring it to Houdini, do your work, and after you just export alembic file to those application, or you can send it to another application. In this particular situation, we will build some kind of Tron legacy game trail setup. This is a request of one of my students. We'll go through 3 steps. First step, we'll bring geometry into Houdini. We will set up our scene, and after we just export alembic. Okay, let's get started. First step is bring the geometry into Houdini. You can go to File, Import, and Alembic Scene. You have to navigate to your folder where all your alembic files are. I just take, for instance, the character here and accept. And you see we have a character here. If we have a camera, you can bring it also inside a scene. And as you see here, I already did these steps for every data that I need for this setup. As you see here, I have here an environment. Sorry, it's not environment. Here's environment. Here's the robot. Here's the character, the main character, and we have also the board here, and we have a camera. And you see, normally this is my shot cam. Okay, after we brought all geometry inside the scene or inside Houdini, it's very important to set up the scale, because if you using data from another applications, you have to just scale it down or scale it up. In this particular situation, I will I already created the null object, and you see here, if we look at the scene now, if we isolate the character and just look here, you see this character is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 15 meters. And normally you have to scale it down by 0.1. And now you see, now we have 1, 2, I think is a bit, you have, now we have about 2 meters here. It's right scale now. As you see here, I will parent every my imported node under this global scale. And also it's very important also the camera, otherwise you will get another perspective here. Okay, this was the first step. Let's go to the next step. As you see here, we have the path where you see where this is just a curve from another application exported as alembic file. First thing to do is create new geometry sub. We will just rename it to trail setup. dive inside, and now I like to bring this path inside this geometry sub. Very simple to do. We use object merge. Into this object, and we just go to our import, and you see we have here the path curve, and we just grab the shape. Oops. Sometimes it's happened that you cannot grab it, but you see now we have it. You can turn it off here, and as you see here, we have now this curve inside this geometry level. The first thing to do is convert it to NURBS, because I think it's a packed geometry now. If you look at it, we have only one point here. We're using convert sub and converting to the, not the polygon, to the NURBS curve. And now you see we have now 34 points. Can also show them. Okay, now the next step is to resample. We use resample node. And you see now if you look at the curve, we have so many points here. I just bring 0.5 here. You can try with 1. I think 0.5 is okay. And now we need the carve node. Oh. Here's a carve node. And as you see here, with this carve node, I will be able to just adjust. This will be, for example, my forward movement, and this will be the trail lengths here. Okay. Now we have to set up the control object with couple attributes that we can just use them to animate this trail. Let's do it. Okay, first thing to do is create a control object. We create null object. I rename it to control. Control. Just press this button, edit parameter interface, and I will just get these 3 folders and make them invisible. And we create 2 float attributes. Just click here, create first one. It will be move forward. Label will be move forward. Okay, the range will be 0 to 1. Supply. And I just copy and paste this attribute. Control C, Control V. And the second one will be trail underscore length, or trail length, and trail. Okay. This label will be a trail length. Apply, accept. And now let's look at the formula. We'll dive inside and select the carve node, and the formula is looking like that. First U is equal to second U minus trail length attribute. Okay, let's just write it here. First thing to do is to copy parameter and paste relative references here. And now we just write down minus. Or I think the first we will go here. You just can press U to go up the level. And we just copy this trail length. Just copy parameter. We dive inside again. And just write down here minus. And here just right mouse button and paste relative references. Okay. Now you see that now I can also connect my second U with the control move forward to control move forward attribute. We just copy parameter, go inside, and we'll say paste relative references. Now what happens if I just move forward and set a trail length, but you see we have this. Okay, perfect. Let's now just create geometry. For that, we will use swap node. And this swap node needs two inputs. One is for curve and one is for profile. Okay, but first we have to bring our profile curve inside this sub. As you see here, you can use where you want. For example, first I will use here the circle. Okay, and now let's bring it here. Circle will go here. Now you see we have our geometry here. The first thing to do is just make it NURBS curve, and also we can just, yeah, I think it's okay this way. You see we have a geometry here. And also you can do transform node, for example, and make it a bit smaller. And as you see here, we need also the reverse node because our normal's looking in the opposite direction. We use the reverse node. And we need the null. And just for our geometry. Okay, as you see here, if I go up the level and we just move forward, we have this. Okay, great. Then let's bring our profile curve here. As you see, I already imported it here, this trail profile. And now I will use, sorry, I'll back in a second. Okay, I'm back. Let's bring the profile using the object merge. Into this object, and I will grab the profile. I use tail profile. Just take this. You see we have now this profile curve, and I will use this profile curve instead of my circle. And now we have, if we look into the camera, okay, because the trail is not animated, but you can just go here, take your control object. Sorry, I forgot very important step, because this is a alembic curve or alembic file, and we have here also the packed geometry. The first thing to do is just convert it to NURBS curve, and polygon NURBS curve. Okay, and now we have our trail here. Now we can move forward, and as you see, oops, now we have this profile here. Now you can use another SOP, geometry SOP, for exporting geometry. I like to just make all this SOP separate, because here I have my setup here, and I like to have another geometry SOP. I just write export, and now we use object merge into this object, and I just take the control, where is my trail setup here, and just take this out, accept, and you see we have now our geometry here. And I think we have to disactivate this reverse node. And you see now you have this geometry outside here, and now you can animate your trail. You can also animate your trail length if you like. Let's see here. Okay. Now it's time to export the geometry to Alembic file. In this case, we will use Alembic for Maya. We need a ROP Alembic output, because this is the only one that will work with Maya. If you have frame range, we just connect to the first input, and now you just can just pick out your the directory, and just press save to disk or press save to disk in background. The differences are, if you do the save to disk in background, you can work on the file. If you press save to disk, you'll not be able to work on this instance of Houdini. And also, very important thing here, as you remember, we just set a global scale here to 0, 1, and we have to set here the uniform scale to 1 divided by, just copy this parameter, and paste relative reference. And now we have the same scale for our scene in Maya. Okay, that's it for this tutorial. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this tutorial, please leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.